The Shark Deck.
Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. I had mentioned the other day that I was working with the LateBot, and LateBot went on its own and wrote some jokes. I didn't even ask it to write jokes, but since late night is off, let's see what the LateBot has for us. I just read that a new study shows that most people who go to the gym don't actually use the equipment. In other words, they pay money to pretend they're going to work out. It's like going to a Taylor Swift concert and pretending you're not there for the songs. I'm not sure what that joke means, but if Kimmel told it, you'd laugh. Did you hear about the new iPhone app that helps you find the nearest public restroom? Finally, a way to find relief from both your bladder and your crippling addiction to technology. I wonder why the LateBot picked that as a topic. One more, and I could see this being a Fallon joke. I saw that Amazon is now offering one-day shipping on some products. Yeah, because apparently waiting a whole 2 days for your avocado slicer just isn't fast enough anymore. All right, thank you, computer. Let's go to professional comedians. Wanda Sykes has a new special coming to Netflix May 23rd. I have pre-listened to the trailer, and I liked it a lot. Here, it's your turn to listen.
We've had a pandemic, an insurrection, Roe v. Wade got overturned, Kanye's black ass wearing a White Lives Matter t-shirt. I think I'm gonna call this special, Here Comes Jesus. Black people were watching January 6th like, what in the Wakanda Forever is going on here? I mean, they were just climbing up the walls. It looked like a zombie herd. You know, like Giuliani bit all of them. They were just infected. Nancy. You know, I can't tell you how many drag shows I've been to that they ran out of high chairs and booster seats. You know what my kids asked me one time? They asked me if they could eat their breakfast before they go to bed so they could sleep in.
That sounds really promising. We'll see how far up the Johnny Mac 2023 list this Wanda Sykes special makes it. It's called I'm an Entertainer, filmed at the Miller Theater in Philadelphia back in February. The press release says the special tackles the challenges of raising Gen Z teens and the dilemmas of being liberal in a hypercharged political climate. Wanda Sykes, I'm an Entertainer, Netflix, May 23rd. Jessica Kirson, she's at the NJ Pack Theater tonight. This from NJArts.com. Jessica describes her stand-up as, you don't have to think a lot. I'm really an entertainer. It's very old school. I feel like people just want to see a show now and not have to think so much. They have short attention spans. I don't talk about heavy subjects like politics or what's going on in the news. I don't bring up anything that divides people ever. I'm self-deprecating. I do a lot of characters which people love, and it's more of a high-energy kind of show. It's fast-paced. You're constantly on your feet. I do a lot of crowd work, which I'm known for, and people love that. It's not just one kind of style. I do all different voices. The male comics will always say, I don't see you as a female comic. I see you as a comic. That's an interesting backhanded compliment. Jessica says, I don't stick to female-centered things at all. I don't bash men. I don't talk about women's problems. I purposely appeal to men and women. A lot of times, guys will come to my shows without their wives or girlfriends, which is very rare for a female comedian. She says, crowd work is hard, but I love it. Some comics would never do it because it's just not part of what they do. And then there are comics starting out who do it and they're horrible at it. Yeah, if you've ever gone on YouTube, there's so much bad crowd work or comedian slams heckler nonsense. Ugh. Anyway, Jessica says some comics do it and we're very good at it because we've done it for so many years and people want to see us do it. There's some people who are brilliant at sitting down and writing a joke. That's not my thing. Where some of my friends can do that and they wish they could do what I do. Jessica talked about the changing times in comedy and said, when I started out, it was towards the end of this, but if you got The Tonight Show, that was it. You made it. If you got a sitcom, you're a star. She says, I've done The Tonight Show 3 times, and it's like, it's a good clip to get other work, but the fact that I have almost 500,000 followers on TikTok and YouTube is enormous. It's everything in your career now. You have to have numbers on social media or else you're not going to go anywhere. I mean, unless you get a big break somewhere, but it's the only way to get people to come to your shows. Before, it was television. She's going to self-release her new special. She said, yeah, I'm doing a crowd work special, and I'm not even trying to sell it. I'm putting it up on YouTube, which is crazy. Years ago, even 5 years ago, I would immediately try to sell it to Netflix or Amazon or Apple. And I have like the biggest comedy manager in the business. The fact that I'm not even trying to sell it tells you everything. I'm putting it up on YouTube because I'll get more out of it because of the fans and because every comic will push it for me, like Bert Kreischer, Joe Rogan, Whitney Cummings. Everyone will say, watch Jessica's special. And with all that support, I don't need to put it on TV. It'll get millions of views. Like when you put it on Netflix or one of those channels, you don't even know. Like you have no idea, even if it's popular or not. You know what is popular, Jessica? the 8-figure checks some comedians are getting. So I hear you, but let's not act like if Netflix went, hey, guaranteed 7 figures, you in? You're going to say no. Come on. Julia Louis-Dreyfuss talked about the Seinfeld curse. What's that? Well, some people thought there was a curse related to having been a star of the Seinfeld sitcom. For example, Julia's sitcom Watching Ellie didn't do so well. Michael Richards, The Michael Richards Show, did not do well. And Jason Alexander had Bob Patterson and Listen Up. Those didn't do well. And Julia said, it was invented by the media. They thought it was clever. You don't need me to prove it wrong. It's ridiculous. It made no sense. I was amazed that it had legs. It was so moronic. I don't know what else to say. Larry David called the curse the most idiotic notion back in 2009. And he's had a pretty good 13 years since. Larry back in 2009 said, are you crazy? It's so annoying to hear something like that. There's no curse. It's crazy. So there were 2 TV shows attempted that didn't work. Big deal. How many TV shows work? Then they pointed out Jason Alexander was doing commercials for Kentucky Fried Chicken. Larry said, he's entitled to make a living, but a curse? That's absurd. Joe List will receive the Comedian of the Year award next week at the Boston Comedy Festival. Joe told the Boston Globe, I remember the Boston Comedy Festival started in 2000, right around the same time I started, so it had a special meaning to me. I remember as a teenager being like, oh my God, we have our own festival. That's crazy. Joe has a special coming out on YouTube this summer. It's called Enough for Everyone. He also has filmed a documentary about his film. One-time Boston comic Tom Dustin, who now owns a comedy club in Key West. That is titled Too Funny to Hate. That'll be released this fall. Joe's excited that he doesn't have to compete in the stand-up contest this year at Boston. He says his resume speaks for itself. It's definitely a different vibe. It's nice to know I'm going there to win something as opposed to trying to earn my win. Definitely a lot less stress and anxiety this time. Brian Kiley, who wrote for Conan O'Brien for 27 years, he's also picking up an award. He had been doing stand-up for about a decade when he hooked up with Conan, and now he's touring again for the first time in 30 years. He says, I'm just doing stand-up, and I forgot how hard it is. I mean, I've been doing stand-up all along, but I didn't have to go on the road for 28 years. I was lucky I got to work with such funny people for so long, and now I'm spending so much time by myself. I'm not making myself laugh as much as I should be. I need to step it up.
Do you love your Peloton?
Oh, I sure do.
Well, I know you do because you started a podcast about one. If you love your Peloton and can't get enough of it and all the news that goes along with it, you should check out our show. It's called The Clip Out. It's a great place to go for instructor news, new classes, motivational tips, corporate machination.
We don't just tell you the news, we also give you our thoughts on why things are happening. And each week we also interview a member of the Peloton community. Sometimes it's, somebody like me, just a regular person riding their bike.
Sometimes it's Snooki.
You never know.
You never know.
The Clip Out is about anyone who loves their Peloton.
Every week we take you behind the scenes and inside the world of Peloton. The Clip Out is available wherever you get your podcasts or check out our website,
theclipout.com.
This one surprises me. Fox has picked up a second season of Joe McHale's Animal Control. I like Joe McHale a lot, and I watched 2 episodes of Animal Control, and I was like, all right. If you have not seen Animal Control, Joe McHale plays Frank Shaw, an opinionated, eccentric animal control officer who may not have gone to college, but is still the most well-read person in the room. A former cop, Frank tried to expose corruption in his department, but his efforts got him fired, which may explain why he's so cynical and curmudgeonly. Plus, he's played by Joel McHale, and that's what Joel does. All right, maybe I'll have to catch up on that one. I think that shows up on Hulu as well. I know my DVR caught it. I see it sometimes. All right, I'll catch up on that one. Mac Packer Andy Samberg, his show Digman got picked up by Comedy Central for a second season. That also surprised me. Other than, hey, Digman is coming out, I didn't see any buzz at all about that. Did anyone watch that? Maybe it's the Bob's Burgers of Andy Samberg. I don't want to get into that today. The Fringe Festival has announced another 1,596 shows going on sale. That brings up the total number of shows to over 3,000. 1,100 of those are comedy shows. Looks like the Fringe will have more shows than last year. Last year's figure was 3,385 shows. Are you in Dubai at the Dubai Comedy Festival? If you are, go see Sushi Mango tonight. The Australian comedy trio made up of Joe and Carlo Salantieri and Andrew Manfrey. They'll be in Dubai with their wildly successful Off the Boat tour. Their online videos have amassed hundreds of millions of views. Their characters from their video skits have gone from their parents' garage to TV screens across Australia. Let me give you a quick taste of them. Here's a video from 6 years ago titled Things Ethnic Dads Say. Things Ethnic Dads Say.
This is my house. Oh, if you don't like this house, get out. And we pay cash. How much for cash? How much you give me this one for cash?
All right, I clipped it right there. What I didn't submit you to was a fart joke, just fart noise. We don't need to do that. All right, that's Sushi Mango if you want to fly all the way to Dubai to see that. Let's see what New Zealand is up to. I've been getting good results from them. One show on Saturdays called Becky Umber's Big Bad Beck and the Three Little Pigs. The Big Bad Beck is ready to huff and puff and blow the house down in her debut solo show. She takes us on a whimsical journey through her laughable life as she encounters everything from 3 blind fish to 3 little pigs. All right, I'm intrigued. Let's listen to this.
I recently became an adult. Some people say I should have done it sooner. I'm 26, but better late than never. And now that I'm here, if I'm honest, I hate it. It's horrible. Turns out there's no takebacks. My main gripe with it is I've had to go to work so many times now. Honestly, almost every week. It's relentless. It's quite hard, it turns out. And see, I thought I was getting the hang of it, which it turns out is exactly when you're not getting the hang of it. See, it'd been a few weeks, and it got to about midday, and I wasn't freaking out. I was like, oh, I've nailed this. Well, this is great. I can relax. And then things took a turn. I relaxed too much. Farted in a meeting.
All right. I want to like her to slow start, fart jokes, back-to-back fart jokes. Not a fan of fart jokes. But here's the thing. So, like, this is the clip being showcased. So you're getting random people like me and you, and we're going, oh, well, let me check out this show. And you're hitting play. And that's the clip that's being showcased, right? We could have picked anything, and we're picking that clip. So I don't know. All right, let's see what the Sydney Comedy Festival is up to on Saturday. Beck Charlwood, her show is called Good Funny. Let's listen.
I'll level with you, right? I didn't intentionally go for older guys, right? What happens, right, is I have one deal breaker and it cuts out every man under the age of 25. Where are my under 25-year-old men in the room? Give me a woo. All right, what's your name? I'm Bo. See if you pass this one, Bo. My one deal breaker to date me, right, is that you have to own a bed frame.
I got one this year.
You got one this year? Give it up for Bo! I was sick of going home with beautiful, smooth men like Bo, just being greeted with a disgusting sponge on the ground. No top sheet, no hopes, no dreams. When these idiots will just be like, oh, you want to get dust mites and chlamydia? I said, no, thank you. I already have one of those. So.
See, that was fun. She made a lot of the edits that you just heard, but I think that's good, right? For the point I just pointed out in the previous clip, like, let's get right to it. Do I like you? Yes. I clicked on your thing. You were funny. Beck Charlwood. She's at the Enmore Theatre, $29 Australian, show 15 years old and up if you happen to be in Sydney. And that is your comedy news for today. Follow the show for free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube, wherever you get your shows. And I'll see you tomorrow.
Hello, I am Mark Francis, host of a daily podcast about the British royal family called Palace Intrigue. Did you see what Meghan Markle did in her latest documentary? Or what Prince Harry said in his new book? Well, the kings and queens and princes and princesses are ready to explode. Andrew is ready to implode. Royal sources are jumping at the bit. The in-laws just can't stop. The UK tabloids are about to burst. Americans can't get enough. The kids can't get any cuter. The press can't get any uglier. And Wills and Kate? Well, they're just wonderful. Get your daily dose of gossip and news from the world's most royal family. Follow Palace Intrigue on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you get your shows.